First of all, I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Shout out LeBron. The Arizona Cardinals are always one of those teams that are just always looked at as one of the worst in the entire NFL, and I am glad to say things are changing. Jonathan Gannon and Monty Austin-Fort cooked in the draft. We have upgraded tremendously, and the thing is, our offense is going to be insanely improved. I genuinely think we are going to be a top 10 offense this year, and when we compare what we did from this year to last year, it's a drastic change. The upgrades we made have been fantastic, and you guys are about to see in just 1 second. But the thing that separates this year versus last year is not only star power and just the overall talent, but it's the depth as well, and we're going to dive into that in just 1 second. But before we get into it, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below who you think is most improved in the NFL in terms of offense. So from last year to this year, who made the biggest drastic jump in your eyes? Before the season starts, it's basically a prediction. Go ahead and drop that team. For me, I think it's the Cardinals, and let me go ahead and dive in and tell you guys why. So first things first, it started in the draft. We finally have a wide receiver this year, which we did not have at all. So when we drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., this room got a lot better. And on top of that, we also made a couple moves around the bushes. We shipped out Rondale Moore. He wasn't the future, which means that Greg Dortch is now our current slot receiver, which is way better. If you guys watch games, you know when he got the ball in his hands, he was dangerous. And the fact that we paired a ton of outside receivers with him that are massively tall, like 6'2" and above, almost all of them, it's going to let him roam free. And Kyler Murray needs those bigger body target receivers. He does way better with him on the field. Marvin Harrison 6'4", and this guy that we just signed, Zay Jones. Not an insane signing, but when we talk about depth, this is a perfect move. 6'2" receiver. The only knock is the injuries. If he stays healthy, though, this is a great move by the Cardinals, as he provides an extra big body, like I said, a perfect wide receiver 4. We have Michael Wilson last year, who was fantastic for this unit. Just a ton of players right here that are going to help this team out. And then we also drafted Trey Benson to back up James Conner. So already on paper, the moves were made in the draft, and on top of that, we're just making the moves around the bushes. Just signed Zay Jones like a couple days ago. And let's go ahead and compare last year versus this year, and you guys are going to see the jump. Here's a little graphic I made. As you guys see on the left side, we're going to go ahead and dissect it. We're going to show you guys the jump. Last year, we had Joshua Dobbs starting, and this man was literally killing us every single game we played. There weren't positive plays, and if you go look at his stats, some games you're going to sit here and be like, wow, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But I'm telling you, as a Cardinals fan, it was the worst thing in the world. Josh Dobbs was literally the worst thing I could have ever seen in my life. Actually, that's not true. I was watching John Skelton and Ryan Lindley play games, and Ryan Lindley actually started a playoff game. That was probably the worst thing I've ever seen. If you're a Cardinals fan or a football fan, you remember this game. If you know, you know. Don't want to dive into that. But then we go ahead and dive back into the roster because Kyler Murray did tear his ACL. So as you guys see, he did play the second half of the season. Peyton Tune is listed here because he played 1 game against the Browns, which we got obliterated. That was crazy. In terms of running back, nothing's changing at the top. James Conner, still that guy, but Keontae Ingram and Amari DeMarcado are no longer the number 2 and number 3. DeMarcado's going to have that chance to be our running back 4, potential practice squad guy, but he is no longer going to be an active guy more than likely. We also have DJ Dallas 2 going into this year, so it is a big competition for him to even make the roster or practice squad. So a lot is changing at that position. We'll dive in just a second. And then the wide receivers we had last year were Marquise Hollywood Brown, who signed with Kansas City. I'm not mad at this move whatsoever. I love our receiving core now. Michael Wilson still on the roster. Rondale Moore, like we said, shipped out to Atlanta. The guy we got in return is our backup quarterback. It is Desmond Ridder. Don't hate that move whatsoever. I don't think it's just an anything move. I'll take it. It's better than Clayton Tune. Then we got Greg Dortch, who was our wide receiver 4, and then Zach Pascal, our wide receiver 5. Greg Dortch was getting outplayed. Not outplayed on the field. He was just getting more minutes than Greg Dortch. Rondale Moore should not have been the starter. It should have been Greg Dortch all along. I'm glad he's finally getting his shine. Rondale Moore, good luck in Atlanta, but it just was not working out. Then our tight ends, we started the year with Zach Ertz, coming off an ACL tear, was not looking like himself. And then Trey McBride, the young tight end we took in the second round, was just sitting on the bench, waiting for his opportunity. And when he got that opportunity, he made the most of it. He was shining. He was going crazy. So shout out to Trey McBride. He deserves this spot. I'm glad he's starting. I think him and Kyler Murray are going to be fantastic for a long time coming. And I am pumped for the upgrades we made in 2024. In 2023, doesn't look that good. But let's go ahead and shift over to the right side of this graphic, where you guys see Kyler Murray is going to be healthy entering the season as our QB1. This is the biggest thing out of them all. Love this for us. He's no longer coming off an ACL tear. We don't have to watch Josh Dobbs. We're not going to watch anybody anybody else, it is going to be Kyler Murray in the helm in his second year in an offense that he learned last year, coming off an ACL tear, literally playing in like week 11, I believe was his first game back in a new system playing under center. Like, he's not used to playing under center. He was used to taking shotgun snaps his entire life, so it is completely different. That's an adjustment period within itself. He didn't go through a training camp. He didn't have time to learn it. So, I mean, the best thing was to get those active reps. I'm glad he was even able to play in the first place, but I'm just glad overall that Kyler Murray is back and fully healthy. Can't wait to see him on the field for an entire season, knock on wood. Then we got James Conner and Trey Benson, who we took in the 3rd round. I love this move. Trey Benson could be the best running back in this draft class. I am not joking. Jonathan Brooks was taken ahead of him, but Trey Benson has the chance to learn behind James Conner and legitimately be the best running back in the entire draft. The perfect successor. I love it. And then we still have Michael Carter as our running back 3, who we acquired last season at the deadline, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, after the Jets cut him. Like, those 3 right there, our running back room already upgraded entirely. And like we mentioned earlier too, if we're talking about depth, we have Desmond Ridder as our backup quarterback. Clayton Tune's still here as well. Didn't really have a fair chance last year. I don't think he's awful, but Desmond Ridder should be QB2. Clayton Tune, if anything, is a practice squad quarterback. I love that for us. Then we move to wide receiver, where we have Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think is the best, and I mean the best draft prospect at the receiver position that we have seen since Megatron. Yep, I'm saying it. Don't care. Then we have Michael Wilson, probably going to start outside of Marvin Harrison as that Y. Then we have Greg Dortch in the slot with Zay Jones to back up as wide receiver 4. If we're comparing last year to this year, we've injured Hollywood Brown, basically. Hollywood Brown was off and on all year long. Then we have Michael Wilson, who remains the same, but he's going to have a lot more opportunity because he was a rookie last year. This is also going to be his 2nd year in the system. Greg Dortch is going to elevate. He's going to be the starting slot receiver, no longer shadowed by Rondale Moore. And then Zay Jones is the perfect wide receiver 4, one of the best wide receiver 4s you can have in the league. Everything has been upgraded so far. The receiver room, I think they did a fantastic job considering it was one of the worst in the entire NFL. I mean, it technically still could be if Marvin Harrison goes down, but as it stands right now, it's fantastic the way it's looking. And then at tight end, we have Trey McBride, as you guys see, elevated into that tight end 1 spot. I absolutely love this. We also have Tip Reiman, who we selected in the 3rd round. That name might not ring a bell, but let me tell you, he will ring yours. This quote right here from him, I mean, he literally said he loves mauling people. The guy is a blocking tight end, perfect successor, or not successor, perfect complement behind Trey McBride. Allows us to run a bunch of 2 tight end sets. I can't wait to run the ball all year long. You got Kyler Murray with the dual threat ability of James Conner, Trey Benson, Michael Carter, and you have 2 tight ends who are willing blockers with 6'4" Marvin Harrison, 6'2" Zay Jones, and 6'2" Michael Wilson too, who are also willing participants in the blocking game. We are going to be dangerous. This offense is going to be scary. I think a lot of people are actually overlooking us, and I know I'm a Cardinals fan, but like Kyler Murray, the disrespect is beyond belief. I think people see us and they kind of see last year's record. They see we were the 4th worst team in the NFL and that we're not going to take a massive jump. I'm telling you right now though, we're probably going to have 7 to 10 wins this season, and we will be a top 10 offense. Kyler Murray is going to be in the 2nd year of the system, like I said. All these players are going to continually get better, and our receiving core is way better than it was. I didn't even touch into the offensive line either. DJ Humphries was our left tackle last year, and he was struggling with holding calls and the ability to stay on the field. He didn't play like the last 7, 8 games or whatever it was. Maybe less, maybe 4 to 5, but his play on the field was not good. We signed Jonah Williams, who's going to be a lot better for us. Will Hernandez and Paris Johnson on that right side is most likely what it's going to look like. That looks pretty solid. So the O-line is probably going to be pretty decent, and then the weapons around us are fantastic. Like, we keep Kyler Murray upright, which I think we are going to do, and if we're able to run the ball like I think we are going to be able to, I think this team is going to be dangerous, and we're going to rely a ton on the run game, which is perfect for this team. It's going to allow Kyler Murray to chill. It's going to allow Kyler Murray to not have all the pressure on him like he did when Cliff was here. We might get that MVP Kyler train, man. It just depends how well this team does, but I think we're going to do a lot better, and I think this offense is going to thrive. It's way better in 2024 than it was in 2023, and that's all I can ask for. We got to continually make these steps, and we've done that. Shout out Jonathan Gannon, Amani, Austin Fort. With that being said, that is pretty much going to wrap up today's video. If you guys did enjoy, consider hitting that subscribe button. I post Arizona Cardinals and NFL related content, so if you're a fan of either of these, this is the perfect channel for you. But like I said, that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy Mythic. Peace out.